Okay, welcome to lesson 61. In previous lessons, you've had problems where we solved for x, where there was maybe addition or subtraction, or multiplication or division. For instance, maybe 2x equals 6, and you had to solve for x, and you would say, okay, well, if I divide both sides by 2, x would equal 3. Today we're going to learn how to solve equations that have both addition and subtraction. For instance, 3x plus 2 equals 7. So remember, the goal is still to solve for x, to solve for the unknown, and the way you do that is by getting x by itself. But notice that we have both addition here as well as multiplication here between the 3 and the x. So remembering that trying to isolate the x is the goal, let's first get rid of this 2 by subtracting 2 from both sides. And then we would end up with 3x on the left side and a 5 on the right. Now, you'll see this looks like an equation that you've solved before. Now we can divide both sides by 3, again to isolate the x. 3's would cancel, and we would end up with x equals 5/3. So the only thing you need to do with these equations is to recognize that you may have to do both addition and subtraction and multiplication and division to solve for that x, but the same procedure and the same goal is the same. It's all about getting the x by itself. Let's do one more. Let's say that you had 2 1/3 x minus 1 1/5 equals 23/10. So the first thing I would recommend doing is changing all of the variables, or I'm sorry, all the terms to improper fractions. So let's make this say 7/3 x minus 6/5 equals 23/10. And that's just to make it easier, because now we can easily multiply, divide without having to deal with all these whole numbers. So here's our x right here. Let's get rid of this 6/5 by adding 6/5 to both sides. Now we need to change on the right side, we need to change that to a common denominator. So 23/10 plus 12/10 would equal 35/10. And on the left side we have our 7/3 x. Now let's get rid of the 7/3 by by dividing both sides by 7/3. And when you divide, you change it to a multiplication sign, and then write this reciprocal. So I'm going to write times 3/7 on the right. This will cancel. And let's see if anything can simplify here. 35 and 7 can simplify to a 5 and a 1. And we would end up with x equals 15/10, or simply 3/2. So there's our answer. X equals 3/2. So nothing extremely new. The main thing is to remember that there can be 2 steps to solving. And usually the easiest way to solve for the x is to get rid of the addition subtraction term first, and then to take care of the multiplication or division. All right, let me know if you have any questions.